Another job is not what you need. And you know it. Deep down, you know it. And you know it because every job that you go on, or every job that you have gone on over the last few years, maybe the last decade or more, every job that you have gone on, you have not wanted to be there. You have not liked. And it's not because not because it's a bad company, but it's a bad company for you. It's a bad position for you. No matter how you try to settle into a job, you just can't seem to get comfortable there. Not because you can't advance at the job. You just simply don't want to advance in the job. Just about every job that you go to, you are unfulfilled and bored at the highest capacity. So what do you do about that? And if it's not another job that you need, what is it that you need? You need purpose. So what is it that you can do to get in line with your purpose? Well, I'm glad you asked. One of the main things that you can do to get in alignment with your purpose, one of your higher purposes, is to think about the things that you enjoy, those things that make you you, those things that you can do for hours uninterrupted. Time passes by, you're having fun, you feel like you are in your zone. Think about those things, write those things down. What are some things that you can talk about? What are some things that your family members or your friends get tired of you talking about? Because you just won't shut up about. And you would talk about these things, you would do these things, even if no one ever paid you. That is the way that you are going to find your purpose. And here's the thing about it not being another job that you need. That's still to this day, 2026, there are so many entrepreneurs in the world, but it still seems like unconventional advice. So because it still seems like unconventional advice, it makes you a little apprehensive. And that's why you keep going round and around in a circle of looking for another job. When you know, I'm talking about when you know that another job, excuse me, when you know that another job is not going to do it, another job is not going to satisfy you. It may pacify you. You are even past the pacification phase. There was a time in my life when I knew that another job was not it, but I could at least go on another job, right? And feel pacified in a moment. So far beyond that. So when you know that another job is not what you should be seeking, seek your purpose, seek your passions, because your passions will lead to your purpose. Those things that light you up, that get you excited, those things that no one has to tell you to do. No one has to make you get out of bed to do. You don't have to drag yourself out of bed to go and do. If you are an exercise enthusiast, if you enjoy working out and no one has to make you, and you look forward to it, and you think of all these new ways that you can improve your body, that may be your lane. If it's art that you like to create, even if you never show anyone, if it's art that you like to create and you can do it almost with your eyes closed, that may be your lane. If cooking is what you enjoy, I don't really enjoy cooking. I can cook, and there are some dishes that I don't mind preparing, but at my core, I don't necessarily enjoy cooking, but I can get the job done. But if you are a person who enjoys cooking, and let me tell you how you know you enjoy cooking. If you have worked a regular job all day, you've been out there in traffic, and you have been at work, and you can come home and you still want, I ain't saying you have to cook, but you still want to cook, you still have that desire, that urge to cook, then that may be your lane. Cleaning, even. If you are a person who can't put a vacuum cleaner down, every little speck of dust you have to dust away or clean away, whatever it is, that may be your lane. So our job to finding our purpose is to find our lane, to find out what it is that we enjoy doing. Because what is a turn off to me may be a turn on for you. That may be that very thing that quiets down your nervous system after a long stimulated day. Because I don't know about you, work, when I'm working a job, which I'm working one now, that overstimulates me so much that when I'm done with work, I have to find a way to have more to give. So whatever that thing is, if you're working a 9 to 5 and you have this outlet, you have this creative outlet, and when I say creative outlet, it doesn't necessarily mean you got to have a paintbrush in your hand or a pen in your hand where you're writing. It's your creation. Whatever it is that brings you peace and satisfaction and makes you come alive, that is your zone of genius. So that's why I know another job is not what you need. You should be seeking your purpose instead. And I get it. Some jobs can really drain you and zap the energy out of you, and all you want to do is get away. So do that if you must. But also know that this is not where you need to stay. You need to be carving out a little piece of heaven for yourself. Because this is what happens. Every job that you go on and you know that you are not meant to be there, little pieces of you, let me say this again. Every job that you go on and you know that you are not meant to be there, you lose little pieces of yourself along the way. Sometimes, and we know that we can't get the time back, the time that we've wasted. And I know some people will say, well, it's not wasted time, it's paying my bills. Yes, but it's still wasted time nonetheless, because you are wasting your time and your energy in places that you know you don't want to be in. So instead of constantly looking for that job, find your next best thing by discovering your purpose, because you don't have to find it. Okay. You don't have to find your purpose. Your purpose is already within you. It's in those little clues of the things that you enjoy doing, those things that bring you so much delight. And it may not bring someone else delight. Just say, for instance, if you love to read, everybody don't like to read. I believe that we all should read, but everyone does not enjoy reading. So something as simple and as small as that, if you enjoy reading, that may be your lane. And it's your job to figure out what you can do with that. How can you do something with your love of reading? How can it help you to walk in your purpose. Think of LeVar Burton. And maybe you know him, no, maybe you don't. He was very popular on Reading Rainbow. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he has a podcast right now to this day where he is reading. He just has a way of reading a book, of expressing himself while he's reading. And that has carried him a mighty long way. It has carved out a career for him. He can never be fired from that. And you say, reading a book. Yeah. So when you find that thing that you really enjoy and that thing that you do well, and then let me tell you this, sometimes your thing, you don't always have to know how to do it well in the beginning, but it's a part of who you are, is what you like, is what you enjoy. So be willing to start messy. I often use the Michael Jordan example to let you know that you don't always have to start out great, but you do have to start in order to be great. So Michael Jordan was not the great that we know him as today when he started out in basketball. So that should tell you a whole lot. That should put you at ease. So in other words, never mind if you know what you're doing or not. How do you feel when you're doing it? How do you feel when you are engaged in that activity? That is your clue. If it lights you up, if you can't think of anything else that you would rather be doing, that is your thing. So embrace that and figure out how you can carve out a niche for yourself in that lane, in your zone of genius. And so therefore, you won't have to keep going out here searching for another job when you know that another job is not what you need. Yeah, we have to work so we can pay our bills. Yes, I get it. I understand it. But if we can dedicate 8 hours a day, 9 or 10, 12 hours a day to somebody else's idea, somebody else's zone of genius, if we can dedicate our life and our time to somebody else's idea and their purpose, because that's what you're doing, you are helping them live out their purpose. So if you can do that, if you can dedicate your time to doing that, I say it's now time for you to dedicate some time to figuring out what your purpose is. What is your zone of genius? And stop going from job to job to job when you know that's not what you need. Now, if you love your job and you're fulfilled in your job, then this video is not for you. This conversation is not for you. But I still feel like we should all be working in our passions and in our purpose at some capacity. But this is for the person who is restless. This is for the person who know that every job they go on, they don't like. Every job they go on, they end up leaving because they are feeling so unfulfilled and so bored and so out of sync. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever felt just out of place and out of sync at a job? So that is who this is for. And I know it's for somebody. It's time to stop suppressing that feeling and get aligned with what you really need, what you really want, what you really want. Because that unfulfillment and that uneasiness and that feeling of I don't belong and this just doesn't feel right, that is your sign. That is your sign, your body, your intuition telling you that there is more for you. That is something else that you should be doing. So, another job is not what you need. Seek your purpose instead. And if you want help with that, check the link in the description for a free self-reflective journaling guide that I have put together for you. Because this is another thing. This is another reason why, and this could go for anyone, but I do know this is especially true for women. As women, when we go out here and we receive all of this negative energy and our nervous systems are in an uproar, we're just not settled. That goes all throughout our body. And it determines how we move and how we feel and how we view the world and even how we treat other people. So if you are uneasy and you know that you are unfulfilled, another job is just not going to do, that's all the more reason for you to figure out where your purpose lies.